Welcome to another session of Political Science. We were discussing about the chapter Executive. Now let us continue our discussion furthermore and try to understand what is the system of the appointment of the President of India, what are his various powers and functions in our country. So let us continue. The President of India is elected on the basis of indirect elections. There is an electoral college established where there are members of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and MLAs of various legislative assemblies of the state who on the basis of the single transferable vote system elect the President of India, and the person who are contesting for the post of the President of India should have completed 35 years of age. He or she should not be holding any office of profit under the government of India. Moreover, the person should be having a sound mental state and should not be a pauper or a beggar. So, the person whosoever has completed 35 years of age is eligible for the contestment of the post of the President of India. As I told you that the electoral college is responsible for the election of the President of India. Now let us understand the various executive powers of the President of India. First and foremost, various appointments. So the President of India is the one who appoints the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers, all the high officials including the Comptroller and Auditor General, the Chief Justice of India, the Lieutenant General and the people like governors, the Attorney General of India and the members of the Union Public Service Commission are being appointed by the President of India. Moreover, he is the head of the National Defence Committee also, and to declare or to wind up a war is also the power of the President of India. Now let us discuss about his legislative powers. So the President of India is the one who is an inseparable part of the legislature. The President, the Lok Sabha as well as the Rajya Sabha all together form the legislature of our country. For the Rajya Sabha, the President nominates 12 members who have worked in the field of arts, science, social work, etc. and have rendered services in the field of science also, arts also, literature also. So any such 12 members are being nominated by the President of India in the Rajya Sabha, and if he feels that the members of the Anglo-Indian community are not getting proper representation, then he can nominate 2 members of Anglo-Indian community in the Lok Sabha. Moreover, in his other legislative powers, to summon and prorogue. Summon means to call on the sessions. Prorogue means to call off the sessions of the parliament is also one of his prime duties. If the President finds that some issues are pending between the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, then he can call for a joint session of the houses. Moreover, he has the power to dissolve the Lok Sabha if he feels that the majority party is not able to have the vote of confidence, then he can declare about the dissolution of the Lok Sabha as well. Moreover, his consent over all sorts of bills is also required. Then only a bill can be considered as a legitimate one. Moreover, issuing ordinance. Ordinance means orders. So issuing various ordinances is also one of the prime legislative powers of our president. Another important power is his financial powers. So to grant consent or to study the money bill prior hand, where the Prime Minister keeps on informing about the uh, making or the formation of the money bill along with the Finance Minister, is one of his important powers. Then maintaining the contingency fund or spending in case of any climatic atrocities, say in case of earthquake, landslides, floods, famines or whatsoever. So maintaining the contingency fund and spending the contingency fund is also one of his financial powers. Moreover, to distribute the share of the income tax amongst the state is also one of the prime financial powers of the President of India. Let us talk about his judicial powers. The appointment of judges, the Chief Justice of India, the judges of the Supreme Court, the judges of the High Court, all the appointments are made in the name of the President of India, and he only has the power to remove them when the process of impeachment is ongoing. So until and unless his consent, none of the judges can be removed also. Then the power to grant pardon. If a person is convicted and is having any charges or undergoing any what to say, he's serving some sentence, then that person can be totally pardoned or partially pardoned by the President of India, or he can decrease his tenure of sentence also. So this is one of the judicial powers of the President of our country. The most important of his powers are the emergency powers. Now there are three conditions for imposing emergency. The first condition under Article 352 is emergency out of external aggression or internal disturbance. So in such a condition, what will happen? The President will take consent from the both the houses of the parliament within 1 month. Earlier it was 2 months, but after making amends to the Article 44, now it has been decreased to 1 month. So within 1 month he has to seek the approval from both the houses of the parliament, and then only he can declare such an emergency. And moreover, this emergency can continue with the consent of two-thirds of the members present and voting of the parliament, two-thirds majority voting of the parliament in the tenures of 6 months. Second case of emergency is due to the failure of constitutional machinery in a state. So, if the governor, who is the representative of the president in the state, he informs the president that the ruling party is not able to maintain their majority or there are other crises related to the administration, then in such a condition the President of India under Article 356 can declare such an emergency. He can dissolve the state legislative assembly there, and he can take the entire control of that particular state in his hands till the time he finds that some other candidate is suitable to take over the charge of the state assembly, or till the further arrangements. He can rule in that particular state by issuing various ordinances. The third type of emergency is due to financial crisis. This sort of emergency is being mentioned under the Article 360, and in such a grave condition where the country is suffering some financial drawback or setback, then the President of India is entitled with powers that he can declare this emergency and can ask the state to reduce the salaries and allowances of its officials till further notice. One very important thing, when emergency is declared, the power of the Indian government from becomes unitary in nature. That means the state governments, they do not hold that much power as they are entitled to in the normal times, and the state becomes unitary in nature. That means the entire power flows to the center or to the union, where the president is the head of this machinery. Thank you, and we'll be discussing about the powers of the Prime Minister in the next class.